Hey guys, I want to do another video here and talk about clan war strategy. Um, so first off, I want to start by explaining the rules with our clan, um, just so that everybody is clear on those. So first rule, no brainer, if you opt in for war, use both attacks. I do get questions from people, like, why do I have to use my second attack? Everybody's already got 3-star, blah, blah, blah. One, it's too complicated. It gets too messy if sometimes, I say, oh, well, yeah, this time you don't have to attack or you don't have to attack. So just to keep things standard with everybody, use both attacks every time. Um, we do and have in the past kicked people for not doing this, especially new players. So it's definitely something to keep in mind, especially if you're going to go to war with us. It also gives us the opportunity to clean up 3-stars, especially on lower level people. We can look at this war, for example. Number 1 didn't use his second attack. Number 6 didn't use his second attack. Neither did 8. Those guys are both Town Hall 9s. This guy's a Town Hall 10. So if we look at what we lost by, only lost by 5 stars there. Had those two people, let's say number 1 even hit 5. Town Hall 9, he probably could have got a 3-star there. If 6 and 8 had hit 6 and 7, could have cleaned those up potentially, gotten the 3-stars. They could have even come down all the way to 9, 10, 11. There are a lot of stars left open here that we did not pick up simply because people did not use their second attacks. This guy's already been removed from the clan just because of that exact reason. We don't keep people who don't use both attacks. So that's first thing. Second thing, opt-in rules have been changed. We are now going to start requiring, because we have hit nearly 50 members. We have a couple more people joining back over from the feeder clan because we decided to fold that. So because we're nearly maxed, space is limited, and this is a war clan. So we do want people to be attacking. I'd like to start doing 40-person clan wars. If we can get 40 or even 45 people going, that would be great. That does leave, 5 to 10 spots for opt-outs every month, which we are going to limit to 3 or less consecutive times per month. 3 times in a row, 3 wars in a row. After that, you'll be kicked, or 4 total times. The reason we picked 4 total times is just because some people may have obligations on certain days of the week, so they won't be able to war. So super important. If you opt in for war, make sure you're going to be able to use both attacks. Make sure that you're actually going to show up. Otherwise, it just hurts us. And I hate to say it, but I don't know any of you personally, so not gonna throw the clan under the bus just for you. So yeah. That said, um, we do want you to hit your number across. Mirroring, as some people call it. 1 hits 1, 2 hits 2, 3 hits 3 with their first attack. And we would strongly, strongly, strongly request that people hit in the first 12 hours of the war. The reason we do that is so that in the last 12 hours of the war, where we found ourselves about 12 and a half hours ago, we could look here and see who still needed to be hit, who needed to be cleaned up. This last war, Ace, I think it was, didn't use his attacks until the last 5 hours here. As a result, we had to have some other people come in and clean up because we didn't know if he was going to be able to attack. Then he showed up, 5 hours to spare, and had to attack other random people just to try to clean up some stars. So it hurts him because he ended up having to attack a bit lower than he necessarily potentially could have had to. Lost out on some loot there. And 2, it puts us in a tight bind as leadership because we need to know what's going on. We do put a lot of work into this. We use an app called Bindle. We have a leadership channel where we discuss things like this. Who's using what attacks, who's using all their attacks. We track this stuff. People that are coming up for Elder. We do put a lot of effort into this, and we try to make it a solid plan, and we want to keep it that way, of course. So, I just don't want to see all the hard work go to waste with people not doing the best thing for the clan. If you have some personal emergencies come up, we don't always kick people immediately for missing their second attack. But just not attacking at all after opting in, definitely unacceptable. So those are the basic rules. Hopefully that's not too harsh for anybody. If it is, I'm sorry, but that's the way I'm going to run it. I want to talk about attack strategies too. So there's been a couple instances here. I'm not going to necessarily call anybody out specifically here, just to not cause too many problems. But there have been some interesting compositions out there, so I did want to go over some basics. I'm going to discuss Town Hall 8 because I've spent most of my time here. Town Hall 7 briefly, just because it's a short topic, and Town Hall 9 and 10 I don't have a whole lot to say about because I haven't spent a lot of time looking over that information. It's kind of assumed when we bring Town Hall 9s in and Town Hall 10s, they've been playing for at least a year or more. They should know how to attack. We shouldn't be having problems with so many no-star attacks. So yeah, that said, I'll go ahead and start by talking about the Go Wipe attack. That's my personal favorite, even though I tend to use Hogs more. I do like the Go Wipe just because it's not as cookie cutter. It's a bit more involved. You got to be a bit more strategic about the way you do it. Just lost our first war in a couple months. Pretty rough. But Go Wipe attack. So Go Wipe attack, I build mine with 2 golems. I'll go ahead and bring it up here. 2 golems, 3 P.E.K.K.A.s. I used to do only 2 P.E.K.K.A.s, but God, level 3 P.E.K.K.A.s last forever. So really good at punching through bases. Kind of mixing topics here a little bit, but the reason I chose a Go Wipe against this base is because of the large open pockets. Everything's kind of congregated in little quadrants, but they're not super tight. I'll show an example of what I mean by that here on the next video, I believe it is. But yeah, I chose a Go Wipe because there's not as many walls to break through to punch through the center. In almost every attack, the best idea is to get to the center so you can get that Town Hall out and go from there because 50% damage is almost always guaranteed. So guaranteed 2 stars being punched through that middle, sometimes 3. 3 P.E.K.K.A.s, 2 golems. I run 8 wizards. I run 19 archers still, even though we have poison spells nowadays. And that's kind of an oversight on mine. I need to kind of adjust my composition a little bit so that I'm not wasting so much resources. I could be using more wall breakers, could be using more wizards, or something a little bit better. One other thing I'll point out, just call myself out on here, I did not bait the clan castle on this one. The reason for that is I forgot to bring something to bait the clan castle with, and I realized that after I started the attack. Went to drop my first troop, realized I didn't have a giant or anything in here, just wall breakers, and I knew I was screwed. So, on that note, if I didn't make that clear, it's super important to bait the clan castle when you're doing a Go Wipe. A lot of people aren't doing that. When 6 wizards come out of there, they can lay down, 6 level 6 wizards can probably lay down about 1,000 damage per attack. Level 2 golems have 5,000 HP, so if you think about that, and the 3 seconds that they will spend under that poison spell attacking my golem, they're going to hit it for, 60 to 80% of its whole life. Which you'll see in a moment caused me to burn my heal spell early and almost cost me my entire attack. So it's a super, super, super important part of a Go Wipe attack. You still have to bait the clan castle. With dragon attacks, you don't, but with Go Wipe, you do. So I trying to save a bit of face here. Go ahead and lay the archers down first because I knew that once the golem got in, it was going to start drawing these out. Did what I could to kill those off, but you can just watch as my golem's 5,000 HP turns into 300 just that quick. Burn the heal spell early as a result, which I could have saved that for a lot later in the attack. Could have helped me out a bit. So I drop 1 P.E.K.K.A. from my clan castle. I could have chose to drop one of mine. I probably should have, because the reason I dropped this one here was to see if it was going to cut off to the side or go into the center. Um, so what I do, obviously, you got to make sure that your stuff is going towards the center. So I waited till that was cleared, dropped another test P.E.K.K.A, saw that it targeted that, and dropped the rest of them. So now I have all my troops going into the center. Out of wall breakers, though. Now you'll notice I still have 4 wizards left. This is something else that I don't see a lot of people doing. They tend to drop a liberal amount of wizards. I've seen go wipe attacks done by our clan with 16 wizards, something like that, 20 wizards in one case. It's really overkill. These guys are specialists. They're very high damage. They're super squishy. They're glass cannons. As you'd call it in any other game. They should be treated as such. You should protect them. You should get as much as you can safely clear on their path before using them. And the reason I save them is because so often a big bomb or some splash damage from a wizard tower or some incidental damage from a mortar will take a large number of your wizards out before they should be gone. Which really ends up hurting your overall attack. If your DPS gets eaten by a go wipe, just like in a hog attack, like I'll show you in a minute, if your DPS goes down just that quick, that's it. You have nothing left. So I always save 2. I always save 2 wizards for emergency purposes. The reason I save 2 is because 1 is for emergency purposes and 1 is in case I screw up and I still need it for emergency purposes. In this attack, we'll go ahead and speed it up here for just a second. Got my golems into my P.E.K.K.A.s into the middle. They're cutting over. Now, I just forgot to pause it, but I dropped a wizard here. And when I chose to drop a wizard here, the reason I chose to do so was because these buildings were not going to get circled back to in time. This attack took me like 2 minutes and 58 seconds. I have 2 seconds left when the war ended, or the attack ended. So timing and speed are everything. You can't wait for things to sort of take care of themselves. You got to be really careful, and that's why these guys are so critical. I messed up, dropped my first wizard here because I've looked at the archer tower and saw that it was hitting the golems, but I didn't notice that this cannon was not also hitting the golems. I thought it was. So wasted a wizard there. But once I saw that the cannon was hitting the golems, I was safe to drop that. Again, treating him like a specialist here. He's got to be kept protected. And that wizard is what allowed me to turn this from a 2-star into a 3-star. Just one little thing like that changed the entire attack. Dropped him over here where I knew he was going to be safe. I knew that these guys were going to work up somewhere over into this area before he cleared out and got up there. So it kept him well protected and kept him away from the actual fight. So yeah, from here, a couple things went really, really in my favor on this attack. I was going to point those out too. For one, you can see my P.E.K.K.A is almost dead. And I believe I still have 2 left alive there, maybe only 1. But in either case, this was a crucial moment. This wizard's about to go clear this Dark Elixir Collector. If it clears this Dark Elixir Collector before this mine dies, that wizard would have come down here with 14 seconds left, 16 seconds left, and I would have lost the 2-star. So this is where luck kind of comes into play a bit, because that P.E.K.K.A got out there just in time, cleared it just in time, and the wizard went up where it was supposed to. Again, so saving a few wizards, if you're using any sort of attack that utilizes wizards, definitely a good idea to save those and use those in sort of a strategic manner rather than just liberally. So yeah, then taking a look at our war currently, or the one that just ended, wanted to show an example of when to use a hog attack. Now, hog attacks, people do them slightly differently, but again, they do include, mostly hogs. I see Plan B using 31. I personally use 29. I get 5 hogs in my clan castle so that I can use them as reinforcements. I think Plan B drops them all at once, but I like to pad mine when they're about halfway through the base, drop some fresh hogs, bring them in. And it's also helpful, in my opinion, to save those just in case some of your hogs get eaten by a big bomb, so that you don't lose more. The selection of a hog attack. What kind of base to use it against? This base is a good example of when to use it against. We have tightly clustered defenses where heal spells can reach the maximum number. Um, there are lots of pockets that would prevent golems and P.E.K.K.A.s from being able to effectively punch through to the middle. Um, yeah, because the number of wall breakers it would take to get in there, just not efficient. And even if you did get them into the middle, your wall breakers aren't going to clear the rest, and they're not going to be able to get through on their own. So those are the things I look for when I decide to choose a hog attack. Um, it definitely is good to use the right attack for the base you're attacking against, and to look at those little factors like, are my golems going to be able to punch through a base with 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 pockets? Probably not, because that's 18 wall breakers to get through there, and you're not bringing them. So yeah, chooses hogs. Again, with hogs, you have to bait out the clan castle, and 3 heal spells are really the only effective way to do hogs. Another thing he probably looked at too that I forgot to mention here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 inner pockets here. With 7 pockets, we know that 3 of them are going to be Teslas and 3 of them are going to be big bombs. He took a guess here, probably because he needed to bait out the clan castle troops. Fired his hogs in there to bait them out, and also no Tesla popped up, so he got lucky and got to trigger one of the giant bombs. Sweet. This base may have been hit before him. He may have already known they were there, but yeah. Still, smart call to check those with just a few hogs and debate the clan castle at once if you can. Speed, again, real key. So, drops his hogs in 2 rows. Not super sure what the strategy is with that, what the reasoning is with dropping them in 2 spots. I like to keep mine together, especially because we know that heal spells can affect them more. You don't have to spread your heal spells out as much. But hey, it obviously turned into a 3-star for him, so that works out. Second big bomb mirrored, makes sense. And yeah, he just goes through, clears out the defenses from there. 3 heal spells again. Using rage spells with this sort of attack, not a good idea because hogs already move really fast. I've tried it. You drop a rage spell here, for example, those hogs will clear that whole area out with quickness. They'll be in and out. But then they'll be half dead, and by the time they get to the next pocket, they're not going to last very much longer. So, yeah, not a good idea. With the hog attack too, it usually either works or it doesn't. So, with being able to clear out those defenses quickly with hogs, once again, it either works quickly, I should say, or it doesn't. You can save all your wizards for later when you need to clean up. You notice he didn't drop any sort of DPS until after the fact. That's exactly why. You don't need that extra time necessarily with a hog attack, especially when 8 wizards can go through and clear an entire base. So those are 2 different types of bases, 2 different types of attacks. Drag attacks, I'll just discuss those briefly. Actually, I'll show the replay. Drag attacks at Town Hall 7 are pretty much a guaranteed 3-star. When you can take out 1 defense with 3 lightning spells, or 1 air defense with 3 lightning spells and leave them with only 1, even level 1 drags dropped in the worst possible fashion will most of the time clear out a Town Hall 7. It sucks, but it's just the way the game is, so you're kind of stuck with it. I hate to say it. Yeah, but it's also good news for us because our Town Hall 7s will be able to do the exact same thing. But I wanted to show an example of a drag attack on Town Hall 8. This was one I got hit by last war that 3-starred me. At Town Hall 8, it's a bit trickier because you do have 3 air defenses as opposed to 2. And the preferred way of doing it at Town Hall 8 to rage and heal. Some people still use 3 lightning spells. I've seen it work about as often as I've seen it fail. So just something to consider, because I'm not trying to make everybody's attacks cookie cutter. There's a lot of different attacks. There's a lot of attack strategies that I'm not going to discuss in this video too. But there are some key components of each attack type that sort of determine whether it's going to be a win or it's going to be a loss. So drag attacks are always all drags. You don't need to bait the clan castle in an all drag attack. He does the smart thing. You'll notice he starts by clearing the edges. Those dragons will go ahead and push through, or at least should. And then he drops them in order pretty much. He starts clearing this side. He misses that defense, which sort of hurts him here in a minute, as you'll see. But he does make sure that he clears an entire side evenly, so that everything, when it's done, will come in towards the middle. My mortar sort of worked as a catalyst here, unfortunately, and pulled them in toward the middle, which sort of hurt my attack. But you'll notice the spell choice. He used his heal spell first, which is not typical. Typically, you use the rage spell first to get them in once the air defenses reach those. And then from there, you use a heal spell because the clan castle troops will come out. And then once you've broken through the outer layer and your drags are in the middle, you use a second rage spell. So he does do that on this attack. You'll see it here in just a minute as he brings it in. Yep, last rage down, and he's punching through the center of my base. So yeah, there's not a lot you can do when you just get hit perfectly. And drags will still 3-star at Town Hall 8. They won't work at Town Hall 9 or 10. Not for a 3-star at least, and typically not even a 2-star. I was doing the math on it earlier, not counting expos, which you get, not counting the extra archer and wizard tower you get. Just from the extra 1 air defense and the extra 1 level on all the air defenses, I believe it's over 690 damage per second extra, just from that 1 extra air defense and the levels. So it's really not plausible to hit a Town Hall 9 with an all drag attack. My level 3 drags, I think, have 2200 HP. We're talking about taking one of those out, in 3 seconds. So 4 seconds. So yeah, it just doesn't work at that level. Town Hall 9 and 10, Go Wipe, and Lava Lunion are pretty much your options. And of course there's other attacks that I'm not familiar with or don't work as effectively. I'll just say that because, if they were effective, you would hear more about them. You would see more of them being used. So yeah, that's kind of the key components of those 3 types of attack. I don't have one for the Lava Lunion, just because we don't have a replay of one. Jest had used Go Wipes in his last 2 wars, so I don't have a solid attack there of what that looks like on a Town Hall 10 or 9. So yeah, I kind of discussed the base selection, what to look for when you're choosing a base to attack. And I discussed a bit about baiting out clan castle troops, war attacks. I think that pretty much covers everything for the video. So yeah, I hope it was helpful. If you do have any questions, we do use Bindle. Definitely ask in there. Just make sure to put the whole @CC1S thing, so that I actually get a notification if you're trying to get a hold of me. And yeah, I feel like I'm missing something though. Just one sec here. Yep, that's pretty much it. So yeah, hope you all enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.